for a training facility here in Atlanta. And so the concern is that those same people, along with others, will begin to wreak havoc when this video is released. Memphis Police says that would be at 7 o'clock later today. That's the expectation. And so we are going to wait for that video to come out. The entire nation right now anticipating this video. And Savannah, like you said, a lot of people who have seen it already, who have talked about it, including the Memphis Police Department, has described it as very egregious, heinous, terrible, animal-like in some instances. And they also bring it back and compare it to Rodney King and the Rodney King beating in Los Angeles, which of course sparked massive nationwide riots, protests, and outrage. What you've seen here in this situation, Memphis Police was very quick to jump on top of what has happened in their city. These 5 officers were fired within days after the incident. And then, of course, yesterday they were charged. The 5 officers you're looking at right there, right now, they're not necessarily on the general patrol. They are on a special squadron that is tasked with fighting crime in the area. And just today, we listened to a press conference where the Memphis police chief said that this, unfortunately, isn't the first instance where these 5 officers and this specific squadron has been involved in a situation that was unbecoming of someone who wears the badge. And, you know, as they continue to investigate the situation, it's unfortunate that there might be more instances of this in the past. It seems like by their own admittance, Tyre Nichols is not the only error or mistake that this squadron has done. And so when you localize what will be the releasing of this video at 7 o'clock, and you think about the impact it could have on us here in Atlanta, the first thought is you think back to situations like what happened in 2020 with George Floyd. That was a terrible instance of injustice when it comes to an African-American man here in the country. You also, you think about the unrest that we saw, even though, yeah, sure, it didn't happen in Atlanta, it hurts everywhere. Seeing something like this hurts everywhere. And so for the police department to describe what we're going to see at 7 o'clock as one of the worst injustices they've ever seen, you know, it's really getting you ready for, I'm sure, what's going to be a very, very tough watch.
Right, and I mean, you bring up incidents that have happened in the past. We also think of Rayshard Brooks, who, again, I mean, this was back in 2020 as well. And, you know, Brooks was shot and killed during a DUI stop at a Wendy's. And you'll remember, if you were here in Atlanta at the time, or even if you were elsewhere, this was a major national story. We saw these protests erupt after that killing there. So I think there is concern that we could see some of the same things happen once again. And actually, the Atlanta Police Department issued a statement here, and I want to read it out for you guys as well. The Atlanta PD says, "We are closely monitoring the events in Memphis and are prepared to support peaceful protests in our city. We understand and share in the outrage surrounding the death of Tyre Nichols. Police officers are expected to conduct themselves in a compassionate, competent, and constitutional manner. And these officers failed Tyre, their communities, and their profession. We ask that demonstrators be safe and peaceful." So again, that statement after Nichols' mother came out. You heard her earlier today. We played that sound for you. She's also calling for these protests to be peaceful. Again, we are expecting a protest downtown Centennial Olympic Park at 7 o'clock this evening. And Alan, we actually do have a team of reporters and photographers who are going to be attending that protest, just so we can get eyes on the ground, get a close-up look of what's happening, who's out there, and bring you all the latest on what we're seeing as we continue to look at this fallout.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, with this situation specifically, Atlanta News First is going to be on top of this from front to back. Anything that happens in Atlanta, good, bad, whatever it is, we'll be covering it. We'll be bringing you coverage on television, on air, on the Atlanta News First app. Wherever you can find us, we're going to be following this one very closely here throughout the rest of the evening and throughout the rest of the weekend, if anything carries over into the next several days. Something that has been, I guess, different, that's taken this route, this specific instance on a different route, I should say, than some of these other police protests or anti-police protests that we've seen, is that in this instance, you've got the police department working congruently with the city to act very quickly when it comes to serving justice. These officers were suspended and then fired and then charged within 2 weeks, which is very quick. That did not happen with the George Floyd situation. That did not happen in these other situations we've seen across the country. So people are praising the Memphis Police Department in this instance and saying, you know, to act so quickly is great. And they're hoping that that acting quickly will deter people from showing their displeasure in a violent manner. Protest, go out, speak out, do whatever you need to do. Everybody is just asking that you do it peacefully.
Right, and one other thing too, as we refer to some of those protests that have happened in the past, I know that we've seen curfews set in place during some of these instances here, and as of now, at least in Memphis, at our last check, no curfew there, and same with Atlanta as well, no curfew here yet either. They might be waiting to see how tonight's event unfolds, but for now, we're going to continue to monitor the very latest and bring you all the latest updates, both here at the First Alert desk as well as on air. We'll be on air today as well.
Yeah, Tracy Hutchins starts up Atlanta News First at 3 o'clock as usual, and we will see you there.
All right, we'll leave you with a shot of our beautiful skyline here. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you later tonight.